because success can be something that is different for everybody, right? Success could be more money, could be more clients, could be more time, it could be more time freedom in general, it could be more time with your family. It's being able to do all of these different things that allows you to be able to be more successful and obviously to be able to move forward. So that's what we're going to go over here today. And one of the things I always start off with is this question of, just to start the ball rolling, is have you ever wondered why some people are more successful than others? Why is it, and I talked about this during the breakout session, why is it that some people have the same amount of work ethic, training, and skill set, and they're just like breakthrough results? And then other people who don't have that, who have the same type of thing, but are not getting the same type of results that they would want. And the answer comes through a concept that I call commission and omission. All right. And quite simply, it's this: successful people do things that actually make them more successful, while unsuccessful people also do things that keep them from being unsuccessful. So let me unpack this a little bit. Commission. We have a tendency to think of this in the Western culture. Work ethic, getting up early, go-getter. That's commission. Successful people do these things. Okay, let's talk about omission. Successful people also don't do things that are holding them back. So they don't watch a lot of television. They don't spend a lot of time in toxic environments. They don't, do certain things that are going to hold them back. And the interesting thing is that unsuccessful people, as I alluded to before, do the exact same thing. Unsuccessful people do things that actually keep them right where they are. They're not coachable. They do spend a lot of time gossiping. They don't have a growth mindset. They do the certain things that are actually holding them back. And for a lot of people, when you talk about success, success is less about learning something new that works and more about unlearning something old that doesn't. All right. And that's why you see a lot of people with their foot on the brake and the gas at the same time. You're like, why is it that some people are more successful? Well, part of it is that they're doing a certain set of things, skill set, that is holding them back, commission. They are also not doing a certain set of things, omission, that would help them move forward. And our job is to be able to figure out a little bit about how we can take our foot off the brake and put it right back on the gas without holding ourselves back. All right. So let me tell you a little bit real quick about myself, and then we'll get into the 3 quick tips. As Annette talked about earlier, my name is Brian Hilliard, started my coaching practice in 2001, originally from the Northeast, as I'm sure you guys can figure out. I'm actually from the Connecticut area and grew up in Connecticut, actually born in New Jersey, grew up in Connecticut, came down south here to Duke, got myself an economics degree and a marketing minor. That was hard, not easy, not recommended, but we got through it and it was okay. Worked out. And then I worked in corporate for a few years. And like I said, started my own practice. And, one of the things I realized early on was that my success wasn't matching my skill set. I was doing things, I felt like I had the right skills, good speaker, writing, putting the books out, but it wasn't matching what I wanted. And for me, success was more time freedom, money, definitely. No question. But it was also more time freedom. I felt like I was putting all of this work and wasn't getting a commensurate amount of result. And what I realized after reading some books, going to some conferences, talking to some people about it, was that I had a fear of success, which was interesting because I didn't actually I don't profile as somebody who has a fear of success. I don't profile like that. And I didn't think of like that myself either. So what happened was I had to figure out, bottom line, I needed to get out of my own way. I was doing things that was self-sabotaging. I was having negative beliefs. I was having things where I was actually, in my mind, I was making it harder. I thought success was like going to the gym. No pain, no gain, do, go, do. And at the end of the day, you'd be successful. And the problem was I didn't want to do that, but at the same time, I did want what I thought that success would bring, if I'm making sense. So I was literally doing things foot on the gas and on the brake simultaneously. All right. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to be able to talk about some everyday success habits, because if you fast forward to today, what you'll find is I work with individuals. I do some coaching and I obviously do some speaking to show them what to do and stop doing in order to get out of their own way and to accelerate their results and get the goals that they want faster. All right. So I jotted a few things down here. Let's get into what some of those everyday success habits are. We're gonna have three total. Going to get into some mindset. We're going to get into some skill set. I'll open it up for some questions as well. So be prepared for that. If you want to go back and forth, that's totally no problem. All right. First thing I have down here on my little list is that successful people are organized and as a result are less overwhelmed and more productive throughout their day. All right. They are organized and as a result are less overwhelmed and more productive throughout their day. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you know, Brian, that's a great start, but like, I'm a busy entrepreneur. You know, I'm a person who is doing all these different things, or maybe I even still have a full-time job and I'm trying to transition over into, you know, another job or something like that, another business. How is it that I can be more productive and be able to move forward and do some of these things without overwhelming myself? All right, great question. I've got three thoughts on that. Okay, so you can jot these down if you want or whatever. Thought number one in that is you're going to want to get yourself a whiteboard. If you haven't read the book, it's called Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. Very, very good. One of the things that David Allen talks about is this idea of putting your thoughts in a place where you can trust. A lot of times what happens is we have so many different things running around in our head, and we spend so much time trying to keep track of all the things so we don't forget, nothing slips through the cracks, that we wind up actually causing ourselves more stress and anxiety and all this other challenge. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to get yourself a whiteboard. I tell people it's a little bit larger than this, right? Actually, my girlfriend did this, by the way. It's a little bit larger than this. It's probably about twice the size. I got one over at Office Depot. And what you do is you write down all of the things that you need to be able to do: proposal, social media, you know, roll out this product, call these people, write all of them down. And then what happens is you're going to want to transition them. And this is point number two. So point number one in this is getting them down in a place that you can trust. Point number two is, all right, then we have to have what's called a high priority, a prioritized high impact to-do list. All right. So you want to take it from here. I personally am a 4x6 note card man myself. I take it from there and I put it into a 4x6 note card. I put down maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 things at the most that people are doing, and it moves them forward. Okay. And what happens is I will go through and I will go and actually have these things on a 4x6 card, and that will allow me to move forward. Now, what goes on the card? Because this is something that's important. 80-20 principle. This is the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. All right. What does that mean? 80%, I know you've heard this, 80% of our results are obtained from 20% of our effort. Like, that's a fact. Okay, here's where unsuccessful people get into trouble. They try to do everything. Ryan, I thought I need to do everything. No, actually you don't. What you need to do is you need to work in the areas where you're getting 80% of your results. All right. So with the 80-20 rule, in terms of from this, you know, whiteboard or whatever, and then we put it into our actual, you know, 4x6 note card. What happens there is we're able to say, okay, I'm going to take these folks, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to take a look at what it is that makes sense for me. So if you take a look, point number 3, this is all under staying organized. You're going to want to think in terms of, all right, what are the things that are going to have the biggest bang for my buck? A lot of people don't think of that. If you were to ask me, I would say, listen, you know, and I'm just reading it here. What 3 or 4, and I would invite you as an action item, what 3 or 4 business activities are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck? For me, it's easy. Presentations, working on my Facebook ads, making phone calls for getting presentations. Okay. These coming to a BNI meeting would also potentially be on there. These are things that are going to be giving you the biggest bang for your buck, and they are actually going to give you 80% of your results. All right. So point number 1 was successful people are organized and as a result, less overwhelmed and more productive through the day. The 3 things that happen while that's going on to do that is to get yourself a whiteboard, to start working off of a prioritized high impact to-do list, and then start thinking in terms of the 80-20 rule. All right. Does that make sense for everybody right off the bat? We get a good start moving forward. Let me get a little thumbs up or something from people. Yeah, everybody's good? Okay. All right. Next thing, point number 2 is successful people have a clarity of thought and an overall mindset that allows them to be successful. All right. Now, this is obviously, we're getting into mindset here a little bit. And this is one of those things where if you have a chance, Jim Murphy in the book Inner Excellence did a really, really good, he actually has a really good book, the chapter on this. He talks about the three greatest adversaries that we face. This is just the voice that goes on in everybody's head, all right, and how it's holding us back. And we've got the inner critic. This is the voice that judges everything. All right. They judge everything and they have an emotional response to it. And they're all about, you can't, do this. They give a negative verdict. That's the inner critic. Okay. The monkey mind, that's the one that overanalyzes everything. That's the one who's like, paralysis by analysis. Again, we've all been there. And then finally, the trickster. The trickster tries to convince us that we will never, ever, ever get past our current circumstances. All right. Now, the thing to keep in mind when it comes to mindset of success and this kind of everyday success habit in terms of having some clarity and getting past all of this, the thing to keep in mind is that our brain is not naturally wired to make us successful. Like, people are surprised when I say that. Our brain is naturally wired to keep us safe. And a lot of times what happens is keeping us safe and being successful aren't always the same. They can be mutually exclusive. Our brain interprets keeping safe as staying the same, as being comfortable, as not moving outside of our comfort zone. The problem is that it's very hard, if not impossible, to be successful and stay the same. Those are actually two mutually exclusive things. So what happens is, as a business person, like, let's say we're thinking about, we're here at an event, we're, going and thinking about maybe joining the BNI chapter, which I would highly recommend. Okay, helps you with your referrals, helps you with your business, helps you move forward, gives you more community. Totally would recommend that. But here's what happens. Sometimes people are thinking, they've got the inner critic who's like, you're not going to be able to join that chapter. You're not worthy enough. You're not good enough. What's the problem with you? You can't do that. You wouldn't even be able to contribute to the group. Inner critic. You've got the monkey mind. Well, you know what? This BNI thing sounds awesome, but I got to get all my ducks in a row. I'm going to make sure everything is taken care of and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And this sounds great, but I need to wait. Let me wait 3 months. Okay. Inner critic, paralysis by analysis. Or you have the trickster who's like, listen, what are you even doing here? You're not even in business right now. Wait till you get started. Wait till you get moving. Then when you're a real business, then you can join. All right. Am I making sense with this? So what happens is we think that that's real. It's actually not. Our ego is creating a false consciousness. Our brain creates an ego, which creates a false consciousness, which we think is real because we hear it in our head. And that prevents us from having the clarity and the peace of mind, actually, from moving forward and being successful. All right. So those are a couple things. Let me open it up for some questions here. I know we're a little short on time, so that's totally fine. I'll stick around. If people want, sometimes people ask me, they're like, Brian, how is it you work with people? What do you do? We actually have a mastermind program. It's called the Fast Track to Success. We also have a boot camp, which is unlocking the mindset of success. So if anybody wants to chat about that offline, or they just want to talk in general, totally fine. But let me open it up for some questions here real quick. What can I answer maybe more fully for folks? And then I'll finish up with one more point. Anybody have anything that they want to bring up?
Yes, if you don't mind. I was trying to take notes, but you speak faster than I can write. Can you believe it?
I apologize.
Oh, no worries. I like it. It's energetic. So I was trying to write down the three little animals that come after us and don't let us be successful.
Oh, yeah.
And
Three greatest adversaries. So that's Jim Murphy. That's not me. It's Jim Murphy.
Jim Murphy.
Yes. It's the inner critic.
Inner critic, monkey mind.
Monkey mind, and then the trickster.
Trickster. Okay, thank you.
So the trickster is all about making you think that you can't do it. So if you fail today, the trickster doesn't just say, oh, well, you just didn't work out today. The trickster is like, it didn't work out today and it won't work out tomorrow.
And that's his book, Brian? His book is Inner Critic?
No, his book is Inner Excellence. Inner Excellence is his book.
Okay.
And the chapter, just so you know, I mean, some people ask me, I know this for a fact, it's chapter 3.
Super.
Okay, good one, good one. Does anybody have anything else before I finish up real quick? No? Good shape? All right, let me put you back over to my view
Oh,
here.
sorry. I wanted to ask you a quick question. I was trying to unmute it.
Oh,
What
okay.
is your website again? Because I may be interested. I mean, you were so talking my language the
No,
whole
that's okay.
time.
We can totally chat. I have my actual website is everydaysuccesshabits.com.
Oh, okay.
When I'm
And then
done,
you said fast tracks to success or mastermind or something like that.
that's the mastermind program we have. But what I'll do is this, Erica, let me finish up because I want to make sure I hit my time. And then what I'll do is I'll give people a chance to be able to connect. But to answer your question directly, everydaysuccesshabits.com, just to answer that question directly.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is I'll give you a chance to connect when we're done, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so
Okay.
much. This is
No
awesome.
problem. No problem.
What was the name of the author for the Inner Excellence book?
Jim Murphy.
Thank you.
No problemo. All right, let me get back to my grid view here. Okay, Annette, I'm going to wind this down. Give me like 4 or 5 minutes. I'll take this home. All right, so here's what it is that we've got. When you talk about, we talked about 3 everyday success habits to be able to move you forward and accelerate your results. We talked about clarity of mind. We talked about being able to, have things where you're able to stay organized. This third one I actually got from Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone talks about the 3 levels of action. If you haven't had a chance to see Grant, he's a hard charger, go-getter. He might talk faster than me. He seems like he's from New York, but he lives in Florida. Anyway, he talks about this idea of action. And he talks about these 3 levels of success. And I wrote them down. I actually added my own 4th level to it as well. So these first 3 are from Grant. They are not mine. The last one is from me. Okay. So Grant talks about level 1, which is do nothing. And you can tell by the theme that these are people who they don't show up, right? They're not doing anything. They don't show up. These are people who are, by definition, not here today. So right off the bat, you guys have a good start. All right. Level 2 is where people, these are what he calls the retreaters. These are people who go in and they're like, oh, this is a good meeting, or oh, these are good folks. And then they're like, but you know what? It's not for me for whatever reason. And maybe it's not. Like if B&I is not for you or this group isn't for you, whatever, that's fine. Okay. But they retreat usually based off of the 3 greatest adversaries that we talked about before. Inner, inner critic, monkey mind, or the trickster. Okay. Third person is they're like, you know what? I want to build my business and really move forward, but I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing, just normal levels of activity, right? And you know what they say, the greatest, you talk about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and hoping for different results. All right. This 4th level is what I like to talk about, which is this idea, I actually call it calculated decisive action. Now, these are people who realize, you know what? I definitely want to move forward. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to talk to some people. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to be successful, right? But I'm going to take some calculated, decisive action in order to be able to move myself forward. Maybe that's being able to schedule some time with Annette. Maybe that's to schedule some time with the person who invited you out here. Maybe that's to actually take an application and see what's going on in terms of the actual chapter itself. Maybe it's scheduling and talking with somebody like myself. Totally fine. But it's somebody who is taking some decisive, calculated action in order to move forward and to be successful. All right. So when you talk about being able to accelerate your results and reach your goals faster, those are definitely the 3 things that you want to be able to do. And let me just do one other thing just to get back to the point. I said I was going to do this. I'm all about implementation. Okay. Anybody who's heard me speak, and if you've worked with me as a coach, I'm not a taskmaster, but I'm all about implementation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something that you probably have never heard at a presentation before. I'm going to ask you to take up your phone real quick, and I'm going to ask you to text me the one thing that you want to implement as a result of this presentation here today. Okay, I'm going to give you my number, 678-953-0435. All right, 678-953-0435. And what you do is you just text me, put down your name too. That way I get texts from people and I don't know who they are and it makes me look foolish. So put your name down, tell me who you are. And it could be one thing that you've learned, one thing that you're going to implement that you heard me say, one thing that you want to implement, maybe you thought of, that happens to me a lot, send me a text on that, and that is no problem. And I know we had some people, if they want to be able to get together, I don't know if it was Leslie. Was it Leslie who was just saying that? She wanted to be able to maybe get together, or chat or something like that. If that was the case, then we can also do that. If you want to do like a little one-to-one, we can chat. Zero problem. Complimentary. You don't have to worry about it at all. Okay. So that's the deal. Got us under the wire at 20 minutes of that. So hopefully that is, that's good to go.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Give Brian a big round of applause.
Thank you.
That is just awesome. I appreciate you being with us today. I appreciate all your knowledge. Enjoy hearing you speak all the time. So thank you very much, very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we will, when I send the attendee list out, I will also send Brian's information and
Hey,
website.
Annette,
Yes.
I'm so sorry. You're going to want to stop the recording so you're back in integrity with the meeting. I just want to let you know.
Thank you.
You got it.
Appreciate that. Hang on 1 minute.